Hey y'all, I'm Selena and this is my top 10 most interesting killers. I do want to say, please do not watch this video around kids as some content may be graphic. I will not be putting any crime scene photos in my videos out of respect for the victim's relatives. But anyway, before we dive on in, I do want to say I will be making videos of each of these killers in the future. Any questions, leave them in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, let's go. Did you know clowns can get away with murder? A direct quote from Gacy to police during investigation. He had two alter egos, Pogo the Clown and Patches the Clown. That's three personalities, and two of them were murderers. What the heck? All his victims were male. And by the way, he sexually assaulted them, which means, ding, 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 he was gay. Even though he had 2 kids and 2 stepkids, which means he was also married. He was convicted of 33 murders. That's more than most serial killers now. He was given 21 life sentences and 12 death sentences. Here in Texas, a life sentence is 40 years. Do the math. As recently as 2017, we were still finding victims of Gacy. Like victim number 24. He was finally identified as James Hackinson. After confessing to killing 30 people during an interrogation, years later, he took it back. He even raged for 12 minutes in a recorded statement claiming his innocence. That sounds more like John Wayne Gacy than Pogo or Patches, if you ask me. After his 33 victims, 21 life sentences, and 12 death sentences, he was put down like a dog by lethal injection on May 10th, 1994. In Texas, it would have been the chair. Next! Now, some of y'all know this one, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but he was the world's first recorded serial killer. That's right, you guessed it. The Whitechapel Butcher, more commonly known as Jack the Ripper. He was known for killing the canonical 5. All of them were prostitutes. So maybe he had a bad night beforehand with one? Who knows? He also taunted police with letters. Like, how demented do you have to be to take a human uterus and a letter and nail it to a wall and decades later still never be caught? Like, that's so mind-blowing. Now, there are some theories on Jack the Ripper's identity, which leads us right in to my next killer, H.H. Holmes. There are theories that I personally believe that Jack the Ripper is H.H. Holmes. And here's why. H.H. Holmes was in London, England between 1888 and 1889. That's when the Ripper killings were going on. There was one composite photo of Jack, like, created by witnesses. And if you put that next to H.H. Holmes, they look identical. Also, the handwriting from the famous Dear Boss letter written by Jack seems a lot like the handwriting written in H.H. Holmes' journals. I mean, it's a theory, so it's not 100% proven, but there's a lot of similarities. Now, let's get more info on H.H. Holmes, shall we? He had a 3-story building, which was later called his murder castle. He even had a crematorium in the basement, basically taking bodies and burning them, like cremation. He was also a huge con man, even during his murders. Eventually, after he was caught and the murder castle was investigated, he confessed to killing 27 people. That's ridiculous. But after being in prison for only a little over a year, he was executed by hanging on May 7th, 1896. He requested to be buried 10 feet underground. Instead of the normal 6, he wanted 10. And he also wanted his coffin encased in cement. There's also rumors that say he convinced someone while he was in prison to take his place, but later forensics actually discounted that, and it really was H.H. Holmes. But now, he's known as America's first recorded serial killer. Now, I know when we see horror movies, we believe that's not real. Nobody is that messed up in real life, right? Wrong. The movie series Scream was based off of Danny Rolling. He killed 5 college students and even positioned their bodies very provocatively. He actually had a motive, which more recently most killers didn't. His motive was he wanted to be a superstar like Ted Bundy. Get better idols, people. Please. His last meal was a lobster tail. I mean, if you can have whatever food you want, wouldn't you go big and get something expensive like freaking lobster? He was euthanized on October 25th, 2006 by lethal injection. Good riddance. Now, I know when we think of murderers, we usually ignore the fact that a child could be one. But in this case, a 10-year-old was very capable. Her name was Mary Bell. She strangled 2 toddlers to death. But between her 2 murders, her and her friend Norma actually broke into and vandalized a nursery, writing notes claiming the first murder. Like, I think maybe they wrote the notes because they wanted the fame. Maybe, possibly, it's just my thoughts. Who knows? Maybe they just did it to mess around. I don't know. But after being convicted and released, Mary Bell was given a new life. She was given anonymity. So basically, like, all of her murders and everything when she was a child got extinguished, and basically she was released and was able to do whatever she wanted with her life. But, alright, y'all. That was the first half of my top 10 most interesting killers. Tune in next week for the final 5. And remember, when it comes to serial killers, you could be next. Bye!